Well, it's finally time. We are 12 weeks to our average last frost date, and that means I'm starting some seeds. I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks that I've picked up that have helped me, I think, in my success with seed starting, and hopefully they can help you as well. For containers, I generally go with a nice small size if I'm going to be growing, say, one thing. So I really like these little 6 cells. Or if I'm going to be multi-sowing, so that's putting multiple seeds in one little container, I like these size for starting out. The reason why you don't want to have too big of a container to start with is it'd be really hard to water them. Sometimes they tend to get overwatered and that can cause dampening off, which is where your seed basically dies. I like to start with a small container at first and then pot it up to a bigger size once it's a little bit established. And again, there's exceptions to every rule and all different ways to do it, but I've just found this works best for me. For containers, I mean, I've bought these at the store. These are fairly inexpensive and you can reuse them. I also really love red solo cups, but I like those for transplanting into because they are a little bit bigger. And then I've also made newspaper pots, which work really well. Again, everything is gonna have success if you just follow best practices. Now for what soil to use, I'm actually not gonna consider myself an expert in this because I've always just used, it's called ProMix. It's basically a soilless mixture technically. It doesn't have any nutrients. It's just like a peat moss, perlite, and I think they might have put something in there for the pH. I've always used it. It works great for me, so I haven't changed. Sometimes you'll get some bigger chunks and you can just sift them out, or I honestly leave them in, pick them out if I see it, but I haven't had too much trouble with that. And then the other thing I like to do is pre-moisten my soil. So I will get a big bucket, add the soil in, mix it with water, and then fill my cups up. If the soil is dry and you put your seed in, you can wash away the soil and you can even like compact your soil. I've had troubles with that before, so I find the pre-moistened soil works best. Good consistency is when you can squeeze it into a ball, but not a lot of water. You can't really squeeze water out of it, and then that's a good consistency. I also try not to fill it up right to the top because I do a lot of top watering. I have a video about top watering versus bottom watering. Link that below. Your choice works best for you, but I find if it's too high, it just all overflows everywhere. And then next it's time to plant seeds. It's the beginning of February. I'm starting some onions, celery, herbs, and some flowers. How deep do you plant your seeds? Most seed packets will tell you on them how deep to plant it. A quick search on the internet will also tell you, but sometimes all those technical numbers are difficult for me, so I just kind of like general little rules, and the general rule for planting seeds is twice as deep as it is wide. So basically, a small little seed will be really shallow. Probably won't even be able to see these. And see how tiny these little celery seeds are. These actually, for the celery, I'm just going to sprinkle right on the surface. Now, if you're planting something bigger, like a pumpkin seed, you're gonna wanna put that probably about that far down. If you're 12 weeks to your last frost date, don't plant pumpkin seeds yet. Squashes don't like the roots to be disturbed, but I digress. So basically, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sprinkle these ones on the surface. The next thing is how many seeds per container. If I'm using small containers like this, just for say one plant, I'll usually put 2 seeds in, just to make sure I get germination. The other thing that I do a lot is called multi-sowing. So with my onions and some of my herbs, I'm gonna be putting a lot of seeds in each cell. For when I'm multi-sowing, I like to have a little bit of a space here, and all I'm gonna do is gently tap on my seed packet and get a little bit of these seeds all sprinkled around. And then I will just sprinkle a little bit of soil on top and pat down gently. Now what I'll do is I will either cover this with a tray or some saran wrap. Again, you don't always have to, but if you don't cover it, the surface will dry out and you do not want those seeds drying out. So if you don't want to cover it, I will just take a spray bottle, and every few days, if it's drying out on the surface, just mist that surface, because if the surface is too hard, the seeds aren't going to be able to break through. I hope that helped answer a few of your seed starting questions. If you have any more, please leave them in the comments down below and I can do my best to answer them or find the answers out for you. Let me know if you have started any of your seeds yet, because we're 12 weeks away and some of these things, it's time to get going. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.